Have you ever been obsessed with someone? You may not even know them, or barely talk. Or maybe it was a distant TV star that you were crazy about. What you experienced has a name, and it's limerence. In today's episode of the HeyZen podcast, we'll talk about the difference between having a crush, how to recognize your limerence pattern, and navigating your feelings in a much healthier way. Now, let's get started.
It's an informative podcast about mental wellness from HeyZen. Here, we debunk myths, discuss hot topics, and give practical advice to improve your mental health. It will be funny, insightful, and impressive.
First, let's find out the symptoms of limerence, so that you can understand if it was a normal infatuation or something to be alarmed about. Imagine having a crush. So limerence feels like this, but multiplied by 100. You always think of this person and fantasize about them to the extent that you can't control it. You know you have other things to do and concentrate on, but thoughts about them occupy your whole mind. The interest you feel in this person doesn't need to be sexual or romantic. It can be your colleague at work you'd like to befriend, or that cool person you met at a party who you just can't stop thinking about. You replay every interaction in your head, overanalyze their every word and gesture, and dream up scenarios where you become best friends or they fall madly in love with you. It's intense and all-consuming. This obsession soon starts affecting your daily life, and others notice it. You read into every interaction too much, turning everything into a sign from this person. You might find yourself checking your phone constantly, hoping for a message from them, or going out of your way to accidentally bump into them. When they don't reach out to you, or you don't have a chance to meet, despair overwhelms you, making you feel anxious, restless, and even affecting your sleep. Recognizing these signs is the first step to understanding whether what you're experiencing is limerence or just a harmless crush. Basically, the first feels like being under the spell of this particular person, as you forgot about your chores, your interests, and your own personality while trying to accommodate yourself to them. What you need to do first is recognize that it's unhealthy. Try to look at this situation objectively and ask yourself, what do I really know about this person and what I've made up? For example, you might think of them as the kindest person alive, but are there any real facts supporting it? Or most probably, you've just suggested it, according to their looks, and made your brain wholeheartedly believe in it. The root of limerence is our internal desire to attach to someone, just like a child does to their parents. The less they pay attention to a child, the stronger the child's need for them becomes. Also, the same way we're idealizing our caregivers, we start to idealize those random people that give us crumbs of interest, followed by ambiguity. Actually, this is a typical pattern of how it goes. When we're certain that someone dislikes or adores us, we don't fall into obsession. But uncertainty about their feelings gives us a rich soil for fantasies and longing. So again, think beyond and objectively assess your interest in the object of limerence. Are they really so great, or is it just your inner longing for appreciation and affection? By the way, you know what works great sometimes? Is to find a flaw in the person. Instead of fixating on their so lovely cheekbones, look at their receding hairline or crooked teeth. Find anything that doesn't coincide with your image of beauty, and don't forget to remind yourself of it. It may seem not that noble of a strategy, but isn't it the same as idealizing this person, making them appear way better than they actually are? You simply trick your brain by pointing out that your object of limerence also has flaws, and in this case, maybe it doesn't make much sense to obsess over them, putting up with their mixed signals. What can also help you overcome limerence is understanding that processes in our brains are behind it. Basically, when someone gives you a slight sign of interest or affection, it causes a spike of dopamine in your brain. With time, it decreases and we desire more. Our brain remembers that it felt so great and happy when someone paid attention to us, so it tries to repeat the process by, let's say, messaging this person. Then they ignore you again, and your brain craves more dopamine again. You've got the idea of this loop, right? So, on the one hand, there's past experience of yours that makes you look for unhealthy attachment. Parents who didn't love you enough, a chain of avoidant partners, or a lack of friends in childhood. On the other hand, there's the brain with its dopamine cravings. Try to understand what you're seeking in these people. A sense of safety, care, appreciation, or the feeling of your own worth? Why does this person seem to offer something so special that you can't let go? Often, it's not about the person themselves, but what they represent to you. By identifying these underlying desires, you can start to address them in healthier ways. Then, ask yourself if you can satisfy all these internal needs on your own. Can you cultivate a sense of self-worth through personal achievements, hobbies, or self-compassion practices? Can you find safety and care within a supportive community or through self-care routines? Reflect on how you can appreciate yourself and find validation from within. It doesn't mean that you need to abandon all external connections, not at all. The goal is not to cut yourself off from relationships, but to foster connections that are balanced and healthy. You deserve relationships where your needs are met without the roller coaster of limerence. You deserve certainty in your partner's feelings, and you deserve to be with someone great and beautiful, not in your fantasies, but in real life. Before, your mind was focused on noticing only those who fueled your insecurities and your internal belief that you didn't deserve love and appreciation. It's the basis for limerence, and once you see it, it's going to be ruined. Now, introduce yourself and effortfully notice those who are ready to sincerely appreciate you, and those whose real actions and behavior don't give a chance for your fantasizing to step in. Now, let's wrap up our episode for today. Take small steps towards understanding and nurturing yourself, and you'll find it easier to build connections that enhance your life rather than dominate it. And always remember to respect yourself first. You deserve true, sincere love by default, and you don't need to beg anyone for it. Thank you for continuing your journey to health and balance with HeyZen. See you in the next episode.